Hey everyone, welcome to Adventures in Everyday Cooking, where every day can be an adventure in your kitchen. My name is Heather, and today we're doing black-eyed peas and collard greens. This is a southern favorite around here. When I grew up here in Texas when I was younger, of course I was younger because I grew up here. Anyway, in my younger years, we had black-eyed peas quite often, but as an adult, I stopped making them. And now I don't know if that's because where I live it wasn't a popular dish. But now that I'm back in Texas, I am super excited to figure out how to do black-eyed peas once again. Now, because this is January, and January is generally the time that a lot of people eat the black-eyed peas, it's some sort of New Year's tradition. So they say that if you eat poor at the beginning of the year, so January 1st, you will reap wealth in the end of the year. And so I'm not superstitious and I don't believe that at all whatsoever, but that's where the eating of black-eyed peas for the beginning of January came into play. But I do want to learn how to make a good black-eyed pea so that I can serve it to my southern friends. So, are you ready for this adventure? Let's get started. Here's what you're going to need. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 chopped onion, 2 celery stalks diced, 1 bell pepper, red or green is fine, or a selection of both, 2 small bay leaves, half a teaspoon of dried thyme, 3 teaspoons of smoked paprika, half a teaspoon of black pepper, 3/4 of a teaspoon of table salt, 2 teaspoons of garlic or 4 cloves, 1 jalapeno pepper seeded and diced, or 1 to 2 tablespoons of canned jalapeno, 3½ cups of chicken broth, 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar, 1 to 2 slices of bacon, though you know you can never have too much bacon, so just measure with your heart. 1 ham hock, 1½ cups of dried black-eyed peas, 2 cups of collard greens, which are optional, and some leftover ham. All right, you guys, so the first thing we're gonna wanna do is get your pot on saute or sear. So we're gonna get that started, and then we're gonna get the oil right in, and we're gonna put our tablespoon of olive oil right in the pot. Once your oil is nice and hot, we're gonna get our onions in, and our celery, and our peppers, and our bay leaves. And I'm just gonna crush them all up. And we're just gonna cook these until those onions are translucent. So it may take 4 or 5 minutes. Just pay attention, don't let them burn. Now this recipe comes to us from Simply Happy Foodie, and this is not a traditional black-eyed pea recipe. So don't come at me. If you are black-eyed pea purist, this is not it. But it has fantastic reviews, and so I was like, this is the one that I'm going to try because it looks great. I did make some additions though. I did add in some leftover ham from Christmas because the recipe says any ham that falls off the bone you can definitely use, but that wasn't enough ham for me. So I'm using some leftover ham that I got out of the freezer from Christmas. Also, it wanted fresh collard greens, and I don't know where to find the collard greens. I looked, they didn't have them, so I'm gonna use canned, but since they're already cooked and they just need to be warmed, I'm gonna add them in at the end of our cook. So I'll mention when you're supposed to put the collard greens in this recipe, but I'm not gonna put mine in until the end because they're already cooked. So, okay, I'm just rereading the recipe a little bit, and it doesn't want me to put the bacon in until we put the broth in, but I think I want to crisp up the bacon a little bit. It doesn't say if it's supposed to be raw or cooked bacon, but now I'm wondering if it was already supposed to be cooked. So I'm going to add my bacon. Also, for those of you who are like, that is way more than 2 slices of bacon. You know what? Measure with your heart. It's bacon. You do you. But let me just say, more bacon can't be bad. Smells good already. That bay leaf is something else. I don't think I've ever put bay leaf in a skillet or Instant Pot and sauteed it. And it's giving it a real earthy kind of, I don't know, just an earthy vibe, I guess is all I really want to say. Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you, make sure it's cooked bacon, because I feel, looking at it, that it should have been cooked bacon. If you have raw bacon, put your raw bacon in first before you put your onions in, and then put all of the rest of the stuff in as well, and then you can cook them all together in that bacon fat. But my onions are pretty translucent, which means that we're gonna go ahead and go on to the next step and hope that that crispy bacon is not missed in this recipe, but the recipe did not say cooked bacon, it just said bacon. So I'm sorry. All right, so next we're gonna put in all of our spices, which is the smoked paprika, the thyme, the salt, and the pepper. Now, it did ask for fresh thyme, and that was also not in my grocery store, so I'm using dried thyme. It's usually 1 tablespoon of fresh to 1 teaspoon of dried. So we're just gonna go ahead and get those right over the veggies. And we're gonna give that a good stir. Next, we are gonna add our garlic and our jalapeno. And drop it right in your pot. All right, and then we are gonna stir fry this for about 30 seconds because we do not want to burn that garlic. All right, 30 seconds is up. Let's get in our broth, our balsamic vinegar, and if you are using your cooked bacon, put it in now. We're also gonna go ahead and add in our ham hock. I'm just gonna nestle it right down inside. There you go. And last but not least, we're gonna add our black-eyed peas. Now these need to be rinsed and sorted, so make sure you do that because sometimes when peas and beans are harvested, you get little rocks inside them. So make sure that your beans are rinsed and sorted. I feel like you probably should have added the beans before you put the ham hock in because now it's gonna be hard to stir the beans around, but maybe that's just me. You do you, I'm doing the recipe. Here we go. And we're just gonna stir them around and get them under the broth. All right, oh goodness. Ooh, I'm excited, it smells fantastic. Okay, now is whenever you would actually add those collard greens as well, but because mine are already cooked, I'm not adding it. All right, let's go ahead and push cancel. Maybe. All right, we're gonna go ahead and push cancel, and we are gonna get our lid onto our Instant Pot. We are gonna make sure that Walter here is set to sealing. This is Walter, he is our resident dragon. He's on sealing, and now we are gonna set our Instant Pot for 17 minutes. So pressure cook on high for 17 minutes. And then at the end of 17 minutes, you are going to let this come down naturally for about 15 minutes before we release it. Okay, we've actually been 16 minutes instead of 15, but whatever. We are going to turn Walter and release the rest of the pressure. Oops. All right, once your button is down, let's get this top off and see what we got. Whoa. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab the ham hock out of the beans and shake it off really well. We're gonna get that extra ham off, but I want to get my collard greens right into the pot so that it can warm up. So I just opened the can and drained it, and I'm using about 1.5 cups of pre-cooked collard greens. And we're just gonna give those a good stir. And then we're gonna get in our ham. And we're gonna give that a good stir. And I think what I'm gonna do is while this is warming up, I'm gonna push the sear button. So let's go ahead and push cancel. Push sear just for a moment so it can help heat up that extra ham. But while that's heating up, I'm gonna go ahead and take off any of the extra ham that might be, holy Hannah, that is hot. Woo! So I'm gonna take off any of this ham that's on here. And I'm grateful that I put some more ham because it doesn't look like there was a ton of ham left on this hock. Ugh, ouch. Okay, that's good for now. All right, and now I'm just gonna warm that meat through, and then let's get a bowl. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and push cancel, and we're gonna get this dished out. Oh my, that looks pretty impressive. Woo-wee. Let's taste this, but you guys, it smells so good. I'm pretty sure it's really piping hot, so let's blow on it. Ooh. Oh, wow. Okay. So, black-eyed peas are really good. I feel like it's a little too salty, almost like it's overboard salty, but if you have it with cornbread or something else, I'm sure it would be fine. I also feel like maybe it was that salty because I used already seasoned collard greens. So maybe if you are using canned collard greens, half your salt and then season to taste after it's done. But other than being a little salty, I really like the flavor of these. This is a really good recipe. In fact, I feel as though, as good as this could actually become a New Year's tradition in my family. I really feel like my son and my husband will really enjoy the depth of this flavor that we got in the Instant Pot. I'm really excited about this recipe. And if you have ever wanted to try black-eyed peas for the new year, maybe give this recipe a try from Simply Happy Foodie. All right, you guys, well, if you enjoyed that video, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. I do videos several times a week, and I'm always looking for the next adventure. So if you got one for me, leave it in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm gonna serve this up, and we're gonna have a great new year. See you later.